What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video we are going to be discussing the biggest point fighters in the UFC. I was going to say range merchants, but that's not really what this is about. This is about the fighters who just refuse to use any level of output in their fights. You know, you can watch their fights, you can predict their fights, and you can have confidence that these guys are landing about 9 strikes a round. These guys are tapping low kicks, they're popping the jab, they're on the back foot the whole time, they're on their bike. These are guys that just are refusing to engage in any level of action or bite down on the mouthpiece and get in the pocket. These guys are all the way on the outside, all the way at range, using the jabs, using the low kicks, using the teeps. Just the typical point fight style. You know how it goes. We got 6 tiers, obviously ranging from Hall of Fame point fighter down to pure aggression for those who are the opposite of point fighters. And yeah, without further ado, like, subscribe, leave a comment as well, drop some more video ideas you guys want to see. We're trying to hit 15k by, I don't know when, maybe like April or some shit, like end of April. That'd be cool. Anyway, let's get started, and we're going to start off in the top tier. Bruv, that's 9 leg kicks in a row, bruv. What the fuck do you want from me? Leon, son, you gotta go, man, Leon. Don't let him bully you, son. Mate, that's fucking... I've done 7 jabs this round. That's what the fuck you want me to do. Leon Edwards. I can't do a Leon Edwards impression. I can't do any impressions, but I keep doing them anyway. Welcome to the Left Lane channel. But, Leon Edwards. This dude is a Hall of Fame point fighter. Like, this man definitionally cannot throw more than, like, 9 strikes around. Like, I'm pretty sure the trilogy with Usman is, like, his highest output fight that he's had in his fucking career. And that was still, like, not even, like, an action-packed fight. I can't be fucked looking it up now, but, like, I'm not... Bro, like, the Colby fight, the Bilal fight, that Brady fight, like, he came out aggressive for about 10 seconds, and then he just did nothing. The only times he's looked aggressive was in the first fight with Bilal, and then, like... Bro, Cowboy Cerrone pointed to the... I still find it so funny. Cowboy points to the mat, points to the middle of the ground, middle of the octagon. Leon, like, points as well, and then proceeds to just, like, switch stances and just back up. Like, you can't make this shit up, bro. Leon Edwards is the definition of no, like, doesn't want to... I won't say no grit, because I know there's going to be some tards in the comments who are like, how are you going to say fighters have no heart? Like, bro, I'm sorry, if I was a UFC fighter, I'd be shit, yeah. Like, Leon would smoke me, but, like, I'd get KO'd. And I know that's going to sound like a weird flex. Like, if I'm fighting in the UFC, I'm getting laid out cold because I'm running forward like an idiot. I'm not backing up like a tard and fucking fighting like Leon Edwards. I'd rather get slept having like a fun fight and maybe land a shot. Like, would you rather just get like teeped at range and just back up the whole time? Which, yes, you take no damage, but like you look like a coward. Or... would you rather, like, get in the pocket, you land, like, a massive right hand randomly and, like, actually rock the fighter, and you have one bit of success in the fight, but then you lose? Like, for me, as someone who isn't actually very good, I'd rather just, like, have that one moment and just, like, go out on my shield, you know? That'd just be me, personally. But Leon Edwards, yeah, this dude does not want to engage in any sort of combat sports at all. Leon Edwards, I should not say he's a fighter. He is a combat sports athlete that wants to tepidly kick you at range and jab and throw output. Very low output. Anyway, let's move on. We're going to speed through some of these guys. Michael Venom Page. Now, some people might disagree with this placement. Some people might think he's too high. Look, I could say there's a room for him as, like, he's a high output point striker, I would say. But even that, he's like that Shara Magomedov fight was, like, very technical. You can respect what he's doing, but, like, Jesus Christ, that was painful to watch at times. Like, he's just, like, bouncing in and out, and then jab, jab. Like, it's just like there's no combinations. He just throws big lunging right hands as he darts in, or he's throwing jabs. Like, bro, there is no output from MVP at all. Anyway, or there is output, but, like, there's no, like, this dude does not get in the pocket and trade ever. Which is his style. It's fair enough. It works for him. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, we got Mick Porkin. Mick Porkin, he's like a lot of these heavyweights, like the Jamal Pogues types, that they just, they're not a big fan of engaging in combat. You know, they throw jabs, they throw low kicks, and they do their thing at range, and hopefully they don't get robbed. But both of them, Jamal Pogues and Mick Porkin, very similar styles, actually fought at UFC London a few years ago. Yeah, they are susceptible to robberies because nothing they do is impactful at all. They just throw output. Anyway, What am I doing? What the fuck's going on? Let's move on though to the next fighter, and we've got Corey Sandhagen. I like Sandhagen, that's why I don't have him too high, because he does have great performances. You know, that Yarn fight was high output. But like that Umar fight was just too slow paced for me. Like it was like he wasn't doing enough. Now I get it, threat of the takedown, all of that. But I hate that he's training with Trevor Whitman. I think he's a terrible coach for Corey Sandhagen, because Trevor Whitman just turns everybody into like range boxers. Like he takes like fun-ish, like he took Usman and just made him think he's fucking Floyd Mayweather. Remember when Usman was saying he wanted to box Canelo? That's what Trevor Whitman had this man thinking. Anyway, but Sandhagen, like these last few fights, the Vera fight even wasn't that high output on the feet. Anyway, so let's move. I like Sandhagen. He commented on one of my videos. That's going to be the highlight of my life. Shows how sad of a life I have, but still. Anyway, let's move on. Said Nurmagomedov. I'll put him as D tier point fighter. At times he can get real like point fighting, but he typically, I wouldn't say he gets in the pocket. Like if you force him to trade, he will trade. Like he will typically stay on the outside, use his flashy kicks and stuff. But like Vinicius Oliveira made him trade, and so he obliged. But still, I wouldn't call him a high output or like a aggressive fighter. Anyway, Diego Lopez up next, pure aggression. Enough said. I'm not even going to talk about these pure aggression guys because they're just down the bottom, just to like show the opposite end of the spectrum. Anyway, let's move back up to the top tier. We got William Gomi. Now, there's a few fighters I'm going to miss out on in today's video. A few other like British or French kickboxing style guys. And I know there's going to be some people like, what do you mean, bro? You forgot this number 16 ranked, number 27 ranked fucking middleweight, bro. Like, you forgot Abbas Magomedov, bro. There you go, Abbas. He can go on the fucking C tier. But William Gomi, this man's last fight with Haider Emil. It was fun because, again, Emil pressed forward. It is very difficult to make these guys fun, but you can do it. But William Gomi, I'm not kidding. He spent so much fucking time on the back foot against Haider Emil. I actually want to try and find the stat. William Gomi, I thought he won the fight, to be honest. But again, like, I can't even be mad because, again, he just refuses to be aggressive at all. Like, it's been just conditioned into these kickboxing, these traditional French, great technique kickboxers, right? But they just don't. UK guys too, right? Like Nathaniel Wood types as well. Similar, Taylor Lapulus just signed with PFL. Where's the like? There should be like a stat for like time advancing. I can't find it. Anyway, all good. But yeah, like this man spent the entire fucking time on the back foot. Anyway, let's move on down to the bottom tier. Next tier, sorry, A tier. Carlos Ulberg. Ulberg is cementing himself. He's about one fight away. If he somehow manages, it won't happen because Yuri's just autistic, so he'll win. But I think he's going to fight Yuri next. That seems like what will happen. I don't think anything else. Like, I don't think Yuri's going to wait out for a title shot unless Pereira just isn't fighting Ankalaev in the rematch. And Ulberg ain't getting a title shot as well, buddy. Like, this man called for a title shot, you ain't getting a fucking title shot. This man's back-to-back had, like, competitive range kickboxing fights against Ulberg and Blachowicz. No, sorry, against Blachowicz and Ozdemir. And he's calling for title shots. Like, yes, he's got a win streak, but, like, that win streak is just, apart from Alonzo Manifield running in like a tard, that win streak is just like a whole lot of mid, to be honest. Anyway, he got some KOs earlier against bums, but yeah. Ulberg, though, just inside low kicks, tapping low kicks, backing up, technique, always nothing exciting. It's weird because you'd look at him and think he'd be like a fun fighter. Kennedy Nzechukwu turns this man into a range kickboxing dude. Like, this dude got in the pocket with Kennedy Nzechukwu and got slapped. And now he's just a range point fighter, bro. Anyway, just how good is Kennedy Nzechukwu? He's going to make a run at heavyweight. Anyway, moving on, Ian Gary. Ian Gary's a certified point fighter. He can get high output at times, like the Magny fight. When he's got a punching bag in front of him, he throws output. But against Jeff Neal, this man backed up the entire fucking time. He could be higher, but he does vary. Like, he'll sometimes throw more. Shavkat, though, very low output. The MVP fight was pretty low output. He grappled a lot, to be fair. But yeah, Ian Gary definitely won. He's got that archetype. You just look at, like, if you've never seen Ian Gary fight, but you've watched some UFC, but you just, for some reason, haven't seen Ian Gary fight, look at this man's build and just be like, yeah, I wonder what style. Like, does anyone look at Ian Gary and be like, yeah, I reckon that's a fucking marauder BSD type that'll get in the pocket and trade? Does anyone think this dude's just like some D1 wrestler? No, like, you can look at Ian Gary and know that he's gonna just fucking throw about 9 jabs around. Alright? Anyway, let's move on. Next up, we got Robert Whittaker. Whittaker, again, he's high output at times, but at times he does get very point fighty, very like land one shot at a time. Like he'll throw combos. That's why he's not as high. That's why he's not higher up. Because he will get some output going. But yeah, this man, I wouldn't say he backs up a lot, but even on the front foot, he's not particularly high output. He's always using his same techniques, that front leg stomp, that jab. He'll whip up that high kick from time to time. But yeah, Whittaker, I would say lean towards that point fighting style. Next up, Alexander Volkanovski, D tier. Again, these D tier guys, don't come at me in the comments and be like, Volk's not a point fighter, what are you talking about? O'Malley's going to be next. He's also going to be in this tier. Spoiler. But like, there's no way these guys. Like, again, it's the D tier. It's the bottom end of the spectrum. Just because I can't get like the 30 most point fighting fighters and then put them all in the top fucking tier. That's not how it works. You have to have a range. But Volk, he does point fight at times. He sticks behind the jab. Like Volk, he's not like just absolutely like he gets numbers out there because he's high output. But, like, yeah, he's throwing out there, he's throwing jabs, throwing low kicks, doing his shit. But he's fun. Like, he actually throws volume. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, we got Joaquin Buckley again. These pure aggression guys don't need to really be discussed. We know that they are not engaging in any point battles, any tit-for-tat contests. They are getting in there, they're getting in the pocket, they're trading, they're knocking fools out. That's Joaquin Buckley. Let's move on, though, back up to the top tier. Sean Strickland. Dude might be the GOAT of point fight. Like, he might be the Michael Jordan of point fighting, you know. He's just sticking that jab. He's throwing that teep, and he's not doing a whole lot else. I'm not kidding. I don't think I've ever seen this dude extend on a 3-punch combination, ever. Like, the most punches this man's ever thrown in a combination was against Sneeko, bro. This man, here's the fucking thing, man. It's just jabs and teeps. Like, like, he would beat you up if he wanted to. But, like, if you tell Sean Strickland and he doesn't know. If you tell Sean Strickland that, like, oh, yeah, this random untrained guy. But, oh, no, you don't tell him he's untrained. You'd be like, yeah, this is actually a glory kickboxer. This guy beat Pereira in kickboxing and he just doesn't know any better, right? He would probably just, like, he'd figure it out, like, pretty quickly. But, like, if you just threw jabs and kicks with him, alright? Like, if you had any... Like, you could get a fucking, like, amateur Muay Thai fighter and just be like, yeah, this dude's a world kickboxing champ. And then Strickland would probably just stay on the outside and jab and teep. And just not even realize that he could KO this dude if he wanted to. But, yeah, Strickland's generational point fighter. Let's move on, though. Sean Woodson. This man is about 6'7" at featherweight. Victor Wembanyama is running up numbers in the 145 division, about to fight Dan Ige. This dude, what the fuck is this guy's build? Actually, I hate this dude. Like, it actually pisses me off to watch. Like, yes, he got a KO in his last fight against Fernando Bumdilla. For some reason, I picked the Padilla in that for whatever reason. But this dude is all range. He's all jabs. He's not even built to, like, get in the pocket and trade. Like, I don't think he could physically trade in the pocket. His arms would just be too long. I hope Dan Ige slumps him out cold. This does give me vibes of a Dan Ige KO, because he's due for one, you know. He gets a KO every, like, 4 fights. Like, it's like the Gavin Tucker fight, takes some time, you know. Gets the Andre Philly KO, takes some time, you know. I reckon we're, like, you know, loses to Lopez, loses to Murphy. I reckon we're due for a Dan Ige flatline KO. I reckon he lays out Sean Woodson unconscious at UFC 314. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, Israel Adesanya. Prime Izzy. I know everyone's like, I miss Prime Izzy, bro. We missed the days of Prime Izzy. He was so good. Prime Izzy was higher up on this list than he is now. Izzy's now, like, Izzy when he got worse is now more fun because he can't just stay on the outside and low kick because you get slapped by a Mavov. My goat. Also a point fighter. But Prime Izzy, you know, when he was running up numbers against Marvin Vettori, running about 17 strikes a round in a 5-round fight, about 19 strikes for the first 2 rounds of that contest, you know. Generational stuff. He was running about 30 leg kicks and 19 jabs for the entire contest, you know, against Cannonier. Having people leave the arena. That was Prime Izzy. I want someone to make an edit of Prime Izzy throwing low kicks, jabs, and then incorporate some sort of thing about the fans leaving the building. Get footage of the fans. Get him walking out with the urn against Cannonier and then cut to some badass editing of him throwing jabs and low kicks and fans leaving the arena. I will, I'll repost that on my channel if someone makes an Israel Adesanya point fighting edit. you know. But anyway, let's move on. And if you can just, but like, make it as like lacking aura as possible. Like, make the intro full aura, like, I'm gonna kill this dude walking out with the urn and all that, and then just make the actual like fighting part just the most lacking aura thing ever. Anyway, that'll be fun if someone does that. But let's move on. Next up, we got Serial Gain. No, this is not good placement for me. Cyril Gane, yeah, again, he's got that French kickboxing style, certified point fighter. You know, loves the jabs, loves the teeps. You know, he will throw some output out there. He can be fun at moments, but that Volkov fight was pretty dead. But it's like, it's less that he's super, super boring, but it's like once Gane like, he'll throw a 50 punch back of the head combination if he fights some fat dude. But like, if you give him like a good, like, I guarantee he'd probably beat Pavlovich, like he'd outpoint him. But like, I guarantee you, a Pavlovich fight would be just so dead because, like, you know what I think we say with Gane? Like, he gets into his rhythm of just point fighting, and it's like, this isn't boring, but like, I just know this is gonna be the rest of the fight. Like, it's not awful. Like, this is not Nama Yunus Esparza, but like, there's nothing going on. It's just like rinse and repeat, jab, teep, 1-2 combo. Like, there's nothing interesting. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, who we got? We got Sean O'Malley. Yeah, Sean's high output again. He's got like the point fighting style of like range striking, keeps you at the end of the punches, but he throws out when he beats you up. So that's why he can't be too high up. At moments he gets a little point fighty, but no, I gotta say, like, that Cheeto fight, that was just output. The Marab, like, he was very point fighty backing up against Marab, but apart from that, he's a pretty high output dude. Next up, Dricus du Plessis. Again, pure aggression, nothing needs to be said there. Next up, we got Alexander Rakic. Rakic is a generational point fighter. This man is just all about scoring points. The output on this dude is crazy. If I told you that this man was landing, if I gave you an over-under for Rakic strikes landed per round, you'd take the under and you'd be correct. Apart from the Yuri fight where he was just beating him up and then lost. But like, if you give Rakic anyone with somewhat level of defense, he will just low kick them about 19 times a round and throw about 3 jabs. And maybe if you're lucky, he'll whip up a head kick. Because he still thinks he's going to like KO someone with a head kick because he slept Jimmy Manuel. Alright? But since then, he's literally Leon Edwards at light heavyweight. He's got one head kick highlight reel KO that makes people think he's fun. For some reason, I still like Rakic, and I still want him to do well, and I still have belief in him, except he just never fucking wants to do anything. Next up, though, we got Thomas Nolan. Tom Nolan, again, he's got that real rangy boy striker archetype. He's got that 6'3" lightweight build, you know. Again, yeah, just real point fighty. Again, anytime if he trades in the pocket, he gets rocked badly and KO'd by Nicholas Motta, or he gets tagged, right? But yeah, when he sticks on the outside, he does look good. I think that's his style. He's not going to be able to, like, he wants to get KOs. It's not going to be your thing, mate. Like, you don't have one, like, gifted one punch, like, flatline power. You can finish people. But, like, apart from his Contender Series fight, he hasn't, and that was against a featherweight, he just hasn't really shown to just be this guy who's just sleeping everyone. Like, he finished that bum. But like, this dude took Alex Reyes to a decision. Certified point fighter. Anyway, CLD's up next. I put CLD in the athleticism merchants tier list, and I'm going to put him here as well. Because again, like, he'll clinch a lot, but when he's at range, it's just a whole lot of nothing. Like, this dude just menacingly marauds towards you with 0 output. Like, it's actually unbelievable how someone can look so aggressive and throw so little punches at the same time. Anyway, let's move on. Manel Cap. Cap at times does get very point fighty. Like, he'll get some output going when he's fun. Like, Bruno Silva, generational fucking performance, had people saying this dude's gonna, like, that's like the best flyweight ever. Like, that version of Manel Cap beats Demetrius Johnson. I'm like, alright, chill out, he beat Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva was getting styled on by fucking Cody Durden for like a round. Anyway, Van versus Bruno Silva is rebooked per a source of mine. Anyway, let's move on. Manel Cap, yeah, like, again, some fights like the Nicolau fight, the Pantoja fight, just no fucking output to be had. Makayev fight even, he gets very point fighty. So I should arguably have him higher, but I know there's going to be some casuals that just be like, what do you mean, bro? He pieced up Bruno Silva, and just haven't watched any other Manel Cap fights. Very fun when he's on. When he's not, he looks awful. Next up, though, Roman Kopylov, Lucas Tracy's second boyfriend behind BSD, his side piece, you know. Roman Kopylov, pretty high output dude. He's fun to watch. Again, I'm not saying he's a boring fighter. This D tier is, none of these guys are boring, right? They're just good technique that throw at high output, but like it's like that point fighting style, like technique for technique. I'm gonna get you. Those body kicks are good for Roman Kopylov. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, Tom Aspinall. It's for fucking cup of black cabinet soda. Tom Aspinall. I still keep watching all of those videos on my. They're actually so peak. Is sign says no turning? Why am I going to? Sign says no turning. What? No. What the fuck? Why? I can't. I can't bring. I don't know what's going. Black cup of black cabinet soda. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm recording late at night here, boys. Anyway, excuse me. Aspinall, all aggression, you know. Next up, though, back up to this cup of black cabinet soda. I'm sorry, but it's not as funny to you guys as it is to me. Jai Herbert. It's like anytime I try and do like somewhat of a European impression, it just immediately goes into like a shit corner. Anyway, Jai Herbert, yeah, this dude, he walked so Leon Edwards can run. You know, or Leon Edwards walked so he can run. But Jai Herbert, fucking hell, that fight against Chris Padilla was like the definition of point fighting. Like, you could have told me to bet any amount of money on that fight to go decision, and I would have done it. But I didn't, because I just forgot. I just didn't want to bet on that fight, because I'm like, I don't want to bet on a Jai Herbert fight, bro. I picked him and he lost close. I thought he won, but still, you can't get mad. Like, I'm picking these point fighters because I'm like, they're going to look good for the judges. But now, like, it's a toss-up whether there's no consistency. Because, like, am I mad at the decision? Not really. But there's, like, you'll get these fights where the really aggressive guy who looks like he's doing better, looks like he's doing more, loses. And then you'll get the fights where the guy backing up the whole time, but, like, looks technical. Then they lose. Like, you can't really predict it. Anyway, let's move on. Lerone Murphy. This is just Leon Edwards reskinned. Like, am I wrong in saying this is just... This is Edwards Leon, bro. This is Leon Scott. Like, this is, I don't know what this guy's. I don't know what the fuck this guy's doing. Look, he's lower down than Edwards because he's not quite as bad. He's not quite as egregious. Like, actually, I should have him arguably lower because he does throw output, right? And the Barbosi fight was fun-ish. It was like high output, but nothing like crazy from it. Like, he was just landing a whole bunch of jabs the whole time. Dan Ige fight got rocked and then resorted to point fighting. It's like, again, it's not, these are not, like, the guys at the A tier are not more boring than the guys in, like, the C tier, for example. Like, I would say Lerone Murphy is a more consistently fun fighter than Magomed Ankalaev. But it's like, this dude's style, who's going to be here in a second. But, like, Lerone Murphy's style is just so point fighty, you know? Anyway, next up, Guram Kutataladze. I've been long time saying, I won't, like, credit myself with, like, claiming that Graham's like mid and saying he's going to get fraud checked. Because I've picked him in most of his fights. Because again, we've been baited into thinking this dude's like a generational striker. But like his style is very point fighty. He throws perfect technique, loves that crispy jab, loves that tomahawk elbow. You know, he throws his strikes and he sticks to them. He has like his set arsenal and he doesn't change how they're thrown at all. Like, he throws the strikes the exact same every time. And just will throw a bit more output at times. Anyway, next up, Big Ankalaev. Again, I don't know why I've got him in CT. He kind of should be higher, but I just know there's going to be some people that are casual, bro. You just hate on Ankalaev because you don't like Dagestanis, bro. I already know those guys are going to be in the comments. Like, you can't tell me this dude isn't a fucking point fighter. But, to be fair, he's bored. Like, if I'm putting this in, like, an entertainment tier list, I would have Lerone Murphy higher than him. Like, I would have... MVP even higher than him, probably. Like, I would have even fucking Rakic is probably... Nah, I can't really say right now. Rakic isn't more fun than him. But, it's like the point fight. Like, he doesn't really point fight. He's just, like, low output, but he, like, moves forward and he actually throws combinations. My idea of point fighting is just, like, no real combos. He doesn't mix anything up. He just throws a set order of strikes the exact same way. So, you can have a point fighter, like MVP... throws way more than Ankalaev, I would say, for the most part, or some of these other guys, but he's just like, it's the same, it's very point fighty, you know? You guys know what I mean. Anyway, let's move on. Shara Magomedov. Again, maybe I need to rewatch some of this guy's fights, because when he's on, he is throwing pretty high output. He could be higher, he could be lower, he can't really be lower, I wouldn't put him in the same tier as the other guys, but he's, like, this A to D tier is really, you can fucking mix and match. Again, if you've watched my tier lists for long enough, you would know the tiers don't really fucking mean anything. It's just my way of making sure they're even, because my brain wants it to be like that, because I'm autistic, you know, as we all are, as all good men are. Got some tism, got that touch of the tism, but risen with the tism. I apologize. That was retarded. Why did I say that? Anyway, Shara, I'll move on. This is you get some generational fucking cringe out of me if I start recording at like 1 a.m. Next up, Michel Pereira. Again, pure aggression. This man is not point fighting in the slightest. You will never catch this man on the back foot throwing jabs. He will be back flipping before he's throwing jabs, you know. That's why we love Michel Pereira. Anyway, let's move on. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Wonderboy certified point fighter. He's literally a karate fighter. MVP in him. Like, they are karate fighters. The amount of fucking people after every card that I see, MVP versus Wonderboy, bro, make that happen. It'll be a sick fight. It will be a fucking atrocious fight, and they've said it both themselves. Anyone who knows ball, anyone who actually understands the game, knows that fight would be ass. MVP versus Wonderboy, highly technical. Would be very fun to break down. You know, the outside foot battle breakdown on Lucas Tracy's boxing channel would go crazy, you know. But this fight would be so bad. Like, there would be about 9 leg kicks between the two of them per round and about 16 jabs per round between the two of them. Like, you would be looking at, if you make this a 5-round fight, if Wonderboy doesn't get chinned, which he might at this stage, like, I'd probably lean MVP. If Wonderboy didn't get chinned, if this went 5 rounds, you would be looking at like, if you give me the over-under at 100 strikes, I'm taking the under. This fight would be so low output, because both of them are just on the outside. Like, if you give MVP a stationary target, he'll throw output, like, he'll land, right, or someone aggressive. But, like, you give him Wonderboy, they're both going to be on the out. If you give him 2 counter-strikers, say goodbye. It's going to be dead. Anyway, let's move on. Kyler Phillips. I'm just chucking guys on this tier list. If I remember correctly, his Pedro Munoz performance was very point fighty. He just seems like he's got that speed. He just kind of stays on the outside. He's content to just kind of look flashy. Next up, though, Giga Chikadze. Giga's a point fighter, certified. Definitely loves the point fight style. You know, he was like finishing people with like body kicks and shit, and people were acting like this dude's like people were talking like, hey, Max Holloway, we're all good. Giga Chikadze is here. Like, they were talking like some Ben Simmons, LeBron James shit. Like, you can stick around, but we got Giga Chikadze, we're all good. Like, Volkanovski, you're done. We don't need you. Like, Giga Chikadze, people thought this dude was a nightmare for everyone. Like, he's like 35. Dude's like just casually missed half of his career from taking like 2 years off after the fuck. And then he goes point fight fucking range decision fest with Alex Caceres, bro. Anyway, let's move on. Chidi and Joe Kawani. Dude is very fun at times, but like welterweight Chidi has been very point fighty. It's been decision against Reese McKee, decision against, I believe, Jared Gooden. So that's how you know I know ball, because I can name fucking the last 3 Chidi and Joe Kawani opponents. And then it was obviously the finish over Easy D, Zaleski dos Santos. But yeah, dude's very, like, I was watching that fight, he was just fully out techniquing Easy D on the feet. Full range striking, full point fighting, doing all that, you know. Anyway, let's move on. Let's go for that. Yuri, opposite of point fighting. Him and Olberg is just going to be a rematch of the Rakic fight. But I think Rakic is better than Olberg, I want to say. Yeah, I don't know. I think Rakic's offense is better than Olberg, but I think Olberg's defense is better than Rakic. So, am I as confident Yuri will just sleep him? No. But I also don't think Olberg's offense is good. Like, Rakic has heavy low kicks. Rakic actually has power. Olberg has power, but I think if you're watching that fight, it's going to look like Yuri's going to be way less bothered. Like, Yuri was, like, hurt to the legs and, like, looking uncomfortable, alright, in that fight against Rakic until he finished him. But I think in an Olberg fight, I just genuinely don't think Olberg's output would be enough to hurt Yuri at all. So I'll put Yuri, obviously, pure aggression, enough said. Anyway, Yusuf Zalal up next, certified marathon runner himself. Yusuf Zalal, after that last fight against fucking Kelvin Cater, yeah, dude is a certified point fight machine. Backing up Forrest Gump level stuff right here from Yusuf Zalal. Next up, Jonathan Martinez, J-Matt. Real low kick heavy game plan. He'll throw some output. He'll jump on the front foot like against an Adrian Yanez and stuff, but overall I would call him a bit of a point fighter. You know, this man had Marcus McGee like hurt badly to the legs and just did nothing. Just was content to just look at him as he's clearly hurt to the legs. Anyway, next up, Nasruddin Imavov. Imavov varies. At times he gets real point fighty. At times he'll be like okay, and it'll look like the easy fight. Or not the Izzy fight. It'll look like the Delizzi fight. He threw more output. The Curtis fight. He threw more output. The Buckley fight. He threw a lot more output. But overall, I would lean towards saying Imavov definitely has that point fighting style. He's got that French kickboxing, that range kickboxing style for sure. So yeah, I'll put Nasruddin Imavov in the C tier. Next up, there we got Arnold Allen. Allen, I wouldn't say he's as much of a point fighter as a Giga. He gets output going. The Holloway fight wasn't like exhilarating stuff, but it was fun enough. But yeah, what else? Like the Yusuf fight was solid. He put it on Dan Hooker, obviously, but overall, I wouldn't say he's like a super high output guy. Last up, though, we got Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje, definite point fighter for sure. What am I saying? So what the fuck? Oh, my brain's just floating in and out of consciousness right now. But Justin Gaethje, no, he's exhilarating stuff, all action fighter. I'm just gone into fucking autopilot. Yeah, Gaethje, obviously not a point fighter. That's it though, guys. Tier list done. 40 fighters to discuss. Someone was complaining about me doing tier lists. Give me more video ideas, and I've got some ideas. I will do some. I got to pre-record some videos because I'm going away for a few weeks to Vietnam, so that'll be fun. Anyway, goodbye, guys. See you in the next one. Peace out.